continuing on with how you can make your people happy. So we have a misconception in the minds of young people about money. Like when you go to work, yes, you need money, you need a, but the companies which are on top of the, they are there, and for n number of reasons we discussed. But look at one specific example. We gave you Zappos, right? How Zappos is looking after its employees. What Google is doing for its employees. I mean, the Googlers means people who work for Google. I don't know whether there is a word like that, but I just made it up. Okay, these are the people who work for Google. Look at some of the benefits that they get. Gourmet food for free. You understand gourmet food, right? Wi-Fi enables shuttle services. Now, Wi-Fi may not be a thing which you look for today, but still, there are people who run on very tight mobile phone budget. For them, even Wi-Fi is important, right? Motorized scooters to get around in the Google campus. Car washes and oil changes. These are expensive, you know. You may imagine car wash. India, it is quite cheap. A car wash, I don't know how much it is. 500. One good car wash in Australia will cost you minimum $100. If a human washes your car. If you take it to an automated car wash, it will cost you around $25–30. Right? So if some company is paying for that, means it is saving you some money. Right? So it's a benefit. So all we are saying is, you can hold on to employees who are qualified, who are competent, by paying them well and other benefits. That is important. So when you negotiate your salary, I'm not an expert in that, negotiate your money plus other benefits. That is important. Don't fall into the trap of getting only salary. Right? So these are some of the benefits that Googlers get. If they get up to 6,000 if they buy hybrid cars. You know hybrid cars, right? Petrol plus electric mixed. Unlimited sick leaves. Have you heard of unlimited sick leaves? Every organization has limited sick. Even my university has limited sick leaves. Unlimited sick leaves. These are the benefits. Free flu shots. A gym to work out. A pool to do laps with lifeguard. See, these are all the benefits. Can you imagine the benefits? And I'm not saying that every company have the resources to have these benefits. But companies can make an effort to think of ways in which you can create value for your employees, right? So right in session 1 we said, managing service is all about creating value, not only for your customers, but also for your employees. Every little thing that you do for your employees is a value creation for the employee. And the employee will stick to you. The employee will give you your flesh and blood for you, the company. Right? And the list goes on. Different companies have different benefits. It's just one example, right? So we did service triangle last day, right? So these are the 3 ends. It's critical. We will quickly skim through it. Each arm of a triangle is a specific type of marketing. So for example, between the provider, this provider is the employee, by the way, okay? The provider is the employee. Between employee and customer, we call this as interactive marketing. Between company and the employee, we call it internal marketing. Now, most people engage in external marketing. But companies like Google and Zappos, they engage in internal marketing. Internal marketing means I treat my employees as my customers. Employees are called internal customers. That's internal marketing. External marketing is all about making promises, right? Say for example, if you are Hilton Hotel, you will say you will have the best possible vacation at Hilton. That's the promise. If you are Google, you will say I'm the best place to work for. And if you are a product, for example, you'll say, oh, I'm the best TV. Buy me. So that is the promise. Now, as a company or as a service manager, your job is to remember, what is your promise? What is your promise to the customer? Right? For example, I went to Barista today morning. I try to bring you back to a small organization. So it's easy to relate to, right? I went to Barista to get a coffee. What is the promise of Barista? That every time a customer comes, I make a good cup of coffee for the customer. That's the promise of the company. Now, service management is all about, how do I keep that promise? How do I enable that promise? So this guy was so nice. He asked me in Hindi, do you want it strong? I said, yes, I want it strong. And then I said, I want extra hot also. He took every effort to make a good cup of coffee. And that is the bottom part, delivering the promise. And employees or the companies, when they design the benefits, they enable the promise. Because you enable it for your employees who serve the customer. So it's a three-way relationship. Please take it when you serve or when you are in a capacity to serve. Right? So service management is all about what? This thing doesn't work sometimes. Promise management. And this is not a word only. Let me give you a quick example and then we'll move on. Say for example, let's go back to our Zappos example. What is the promise of Zappos if you buy a shoe from Zappos website? What is the promise? What is the promise? Come on, I told you Zappos for half an hour. Deliver wow. So every time you order something from Zappos, the promise is you will have a wow experience. So I will do everything in my power to create that wow experience. That's all that is in service management. If you have made a promise, right? So if Amazon makes you a promise that I will deliver this birthday cake at 3 p.m. or before 3 p.m., it must reach before 3 p.m. That's delivering the promise. So everybody makes the promise, right or wrong? Every company makes a promise. You agree with me? Right from the small, medium to large companies. Everybody makes a promise that I am the best, I will give you the best product, I will serve you the best. But making the promise is just one part of the equation. It's how you enable the promise and how you keep the promise. Until unless you fulfill this equation, you can never become a service company. You can never become a successful service company. So it's all about promise. It's not only qualified word. It's not human-human relationship. And I might have told you that service managers, the best companies in the field of services are the companies which have human values, which go back to human-human relationships and try to translate it in the business language. Brings the family spirit, brings the relational aspect. It's no story, that's the practice. There are enough examples to show that. Does it make sense? Where are our other friends? They're still having break? Still drinking coffee? Anyways, let them drink coffee. That's good. Any questions, comments on this? We'll skip all of this. It's just whatever I told you, it's all written in the slides. If you want the slides, I'll ask Tanzin to give you the slides. Only if you want it. There is no free service here. I mean, so the other thing that is important, and this is one framework I want you to take along with service triangle. So you learned one framework which is service triangle. The other framework that we are learning now is called the service profit chain. What did we start with today? There are two critical things that are important for a service business. The culture of the company and the service mindset. But you may ask, I have the culture, I have created the mindset. Where is the money? Where is the profit? Because if you don't make money, you don't survive as a business, right? And that's the no-brainer. So there is research evidence to show that if you serve, you make profit. But there is a model, there is a framework through which we do that. So we'll look at the framework rather than this thing. So look at this framework from left to right. Okay? Look at this framework from left to right. and look at the arrows. Most of us are trained to read from left to right. Am I right? Except for some languages, which reads from right to left. But this is English, so we are reading from left to right. Okay? And the diagram is left to right. There is a demarcation here. I want you to see from left that as an organization or as a service company, am I guarding you? You can move there. You can move there as well. Is that alright? So as a service company, how do you make, what is the golden rule? What is the golden rule that we learned last day? Happy employees, happy customer. Treat your customers the way you want to be treated. If you want to be treated well as a customer, treat the customers well as. That's the golden rule. But you need to be happy first. You know, in airplane they say, first you put your mask before you help others. Right? You need to be happy first here before you can make others happy. And that's the principle that most of these successful service companies use. So if they focus on employee satisfaction. So what Tanzin taught you is external service quality, this value. I'm taking a step back. That to create external value, you need to first create internal value. Means make employees happy. How is my current employer making me happy? They have given me generous money to travel. Because they know if I travel, I create value for them as well as for myself. Right? They have given me an attractive title. Right? So that I can market myself. I'm a very good marketer. I will easily market myself. And you need to learn that skill set. You should never be ashamed of saying that you're the best. Even if you're not the best. Because they don't know that you are not the best. Do they know? Right? So you must tell that you are the best. Back it up with your skill set. It should not be in vacuum. I'm the best, aata kuch nahi. You should be best at your job, at your skill set. Never hesitate in saying, hey, I'm the best, I deserve that job. I'm the best, I deserve that course. Is it making sense to you? Know your value. How can companies create value for me? Every company has their own way of creating value for their employees. You are satisfied, you are productive. You become loyal. Think about my father. He has spent 35 years at one company. Not necessarily because he was loyal. I know. Because he didn't want to move. Inertia. Right? Inertia has two parts. One is my father, who wouldn't move. Perfectly. He raised a beautiful family. Another inertia is me. I don't know how to stop. If you ever studied Newton's first law, that's day. What is that? Rest until you move, it doesn't move. And whatever is in motion until you put a stop, it didn't stop. So I'm just a reflection of my father in the other way around. That I keep moving. Someone needs to stop me. And God sent my wife. Right? So employee retention, only this thing happens, then rest of the things happen. Because employees are the front end of a service company. They interact with customers. They make you happy. And if your customers are happy, they say, if you're satisfied, you may be loyal. And if you're loyal, what do? You buy more, repeat business, referral. Referral means what? Recommendation. You tell your friends, hey, that was a beautiful restaurant. Why don't you go and eat there? Hey, that's a good product. Why don't you go and buy that? Right? That's your referral. These are all monetary. This is all money. Referral is monetary, repeat business is monetary, retention is money. So if you do this thing right, it translates to loyal customers, and which is revenue and profitability. And this is not theory, by the way. If anyone is thinking it is theory, this is practice. It is coming from market. We just bring it to the class. There are 30 years of practical research and academic research which provides support to this framework. What does it say? The name is service profit chain. What does it mean? You serve, profits follow. That's the best way to remember. Have a service mindset, profits will follow. Have a transactional mindset, you may have to wind up your business. Look at most successful companies, they are all relational. Most successful service businesses, they are all relational. They all serve. They serve, they make money. Service mindset. Any questions on this? So along with service triangle, this is another key framework that you should have with yourself if you want to run a service business, to manage a service business, or to start a service business. Whatever is your forte, this will serve you. Because this requires a different mindset. And my job as a professor is to change your mindset. Not that you have a bad mindset, but my job is to align it towards services. My job is to align it to serve. Only if you serve, this world is going to be a better place to live. It's not only the job of NGOs. You know NGOs, right? It's not the job of NGOs, social enterprises, to change the world. It's for-profit companies can also change the world if they just change their mindset. Right? You don't have to be a charitable organization to change the world. You can quote me anywhere. You can be a for-profit business. At the same time, you can make a difference in the society just by having a mindset of serving. That I serve my customer, I serve my employees, I serve the society the best possible way. At the same time, I make money. Right? You need to make money. But how you make money is important. Right? Any questions on this? Quick example and then we'll go to the second session. Four Seasons Hotels. I cannot not talk about this company enough. Right? So look at what they do. HR is human resource, right? What they do, their focus is on recruitment, selection, training, measurement. You know, they say, what you cannot measure, you cannot. Do you know this statement? What you cannot measure, you cannot. Fill in the blanks. What you cannot measure, you cannot manage. Write this line. These lines are not mere lines. What you cannot measure, you cannot manage. You can measure happiness, you can measure satisfaction, you can measure loyalty. So whatever you want to manage, have a measurement tool with you. Metrics, you need a measurement metrics, right? So we often talk about referral. Just now I told you, referral value. How do you measure referral? Just a quick example. So referral is measured by a metric called NPS. Make a note. NPS, Net Promoter Score. That's the way you measure word of mouth, right? So we don't have the luxury of time to go through all the measurement. But I'm just exposing you to the mindset that to manage service, you must measure certain matrices so that you know where you are going right, where you are going wrong, right? And some of the successful companies, or most of the successful companies, are good at measurement, right? And do not forget the recognition. As human beings, our greatest need is people approve us, people recognize us. Am I right or not? Be it in home, be it in family, be it in a relationship, be it in an organization as an employee. If your partner does not recognize you, I would rather say goodbye to that partner. Right? If your family does not recognize your value, I will say rather goodbye to that family. If a company does not value me, I will rather say goodbye to that company and work at a company which values me. Know your worth. Write it and put it in front of your desk. Know your worth. Know your value. Get recognition. No less than recognition will do anything for you. And these companies do exactly the same. Right? Rewards. Who does not like a reward? Right? Who does not like a reward? So don't look for only salaries, look for rewards. What is their reward system? Find them, ask about them. If I achieve, for example, my first job was as a B2B sales. I was a salesman in my first job. So I used to go to universities to sell instruments. That was the first job. I will travel all of Northeast India and Western India to universities, physics, chemistry, biology labs to sell instruments to professors. Right? And what was my reward? My reward was my boss gave me a target, a quarterly target. If I achieve that, I will get a 5% salary raise every quarter. That was my reward. It was my first job. And that man taught me a lot. I owe him a great deal of respect. Right? He taught me a lot. How to open a sales, how to negotiate, how to serve after sales. So my job was sales and service engineer. That was my title. I can never forget that title. So I was doing sales, and if the instrument goes wrong, they will call me. I will go and fix it. Right? That was my first job. But I was not only after salary. I was after training. I was after rewards. That man trained me like crazy. I can never forget 1 year of that job where I got this thing for marketing. And I enrolled myself into MBA after my first job. Most people do first they do MBA, then their job. I first did 2 jobs and then did my MBA. Right? The other way around. Probably that helps. And an open communication. Anyways, any questions on this? Because we will make a switch to a different topic now. Where is our lady who was helping me? It's the longest pen I've ever used in my life. But it's a very efficient one. Yes? Did you say something? Okay, before we move on, what are our key takeaways from session 1? We were still with session 1, okay? I don't want to rush with topics. That's not my way of teaching. I believe in depth than breadth. So what are the key takeaways from the previous session before we embark on this new session? 3 key takeaways you have to give me before we move on. Yes? Raise the mic. Give the mic to the man. Never miss an opportunity when you are given a mic. Yeah.
It's service
Mindset.
and culture for the company.
So there are 2 key things for a service company: company culture and service mindset. That is our first takeaway. Okay, your job is done. Thank you. Second takeaway.
Understanding your value.
Say it again.
Understand your value.
Understand your own value and see whether that value aligns with the organizational value. That second. Third.
3Cs.
No, 3Cs is a part of that one. Culture. The service triangle. Yeah, and finally, the service profit chain. These are the three key takeaways for you. And the stories were case studies. All of these stories are published case studies. Trust me. I've been doing this for 11 years. All of these are published case studies. So now we come to the marketing part of it. So first session was more on the people part of it, the human resource part of it. Service management is all about marketing, human resource, operations. So human resource is done, marketing, and after that, operations. Equation closed. Okay. So what we talk about is, most of the time, we think of brands in terms of products, am I right? Say I see many people are wearing. See, I have a bad habit of looking at people's shoes. Okay, I'm sorry, but there's a large number of you are wearing branded shoes here. I see that in most of the hilly regions I go. I see people wear branded shoes. I don't know why, but I see that. For the last so many years that I have been traveling, I notice, right? You can wear any shoe, but why are you choosing a particular brand? I can see somebody wearing Adidas, Nike, Puma. Why are you wearing that? You can wear XYZ. They are comfortable. So comfort is a benefit. You are looking for a specific benefit. One, two, you trust it. Like today I didn't wear my boot. I have a long day. So I changed my shoes. I want more comfort. Because I forgot my comfortable boot I didn't bring. Right? Cannot travel with multiple shoes. You know, there was a time when I will travel with 4 pairs of shoes. But now I travel with 1 pair or 2 pair. Right? So you're looking for trust, you're looking for comfort. Anything else? Quality. Brand. But brand is what? Quality, yes. Perception of quality, perception of comfort, perception of trust. But what is brand? Yes, possibly. No, brand is not satisfaction. Brand gives you satisfaction. What is brand? Brand is a goodwill, yes. Brand is a goodwill. Brand is an image in your mind. Brand is a story to tell. You know, there are people, you remember this story, we'll come to service then. You know, when Apple first had come to the market, there were people who will queue up. Do you know this story or not? No? You know Apple? Not the one you eat, but the Apple brand. So the Apple brand, when the first time Apple brand came to the market, people will queue up in front of the Apple stores for 24, 48 hours, 72 hours to become the first 100 customers to own an Apple brand. Why do you think? People are mad? Yes, to a certain extent people are mad. But why do they do that? यार आप satisfaction से थोड़ा आगे बढ़िए बहुत बड़ी दुनिया है satisfaction के आगे No, not if satisfaction was the only thing I can buy any other brand,
Good
any
thing.
other phone, right? I've never owned an Apple product in my life, right? In our home, it's half-half. Mother, daughter, Apple, father, son, Android, and Samsung. That's all. So in Apple versus Samsung home, we often fight. I always say Apple is crapple, and my wife says Samsung is the worst possible phone you can imagine. Two different set of people, two different mindset, two different stories to tell. Right? So these 100 people will see, hey, Apple is the best product. They want to be identified with that brand. Right? You want to be identified with a brand. You want to convey your own image through your shoes. You want to talk about Apple. How many of you talk about your shoes? None of you. You're probably meeting after a long time one mad person who always talks about shoes. Is there anyone who wants to talk about a brand? Forget about shoes, any other brand. That I love this brand. You should have this brand. Anyone? Who is that? You? Who's that? You? Which brand? Take the mic, please. You have that one in front of you. Just turn it on. Yeah.
Adidas.
Adidas. You love it or you like it?
Like.
There's a difference between liking and loving. Right? You like it, but still you tell a story. Did you tell a story to anyone? Did you tell anyone, hey, you should always buy Adidas? Did you tell that? Why? Take the mic, take the mic.
क्वालिटी अच्छा होते
क्वालिटी अच्छा होता है. दूसरा
ट्रस्ट
ट्रस्ट होता है. तीसरा शो ऑफ होता है. बोलने में अच्छा लगता है ना. You feel good when you tell a story. You own this. You are quite like when I bought this watch for the first time. Like I have a fetish for watch and shoes. Okay, I bought this watch. Went on a Singapore trip with my family. Entering a restaurant, that door scratched my screen here. I didn't erase it. I kept it. But जब भी मैं किसी से मिलता हूँ, I'll talk about this watch. Why this watch is special? There are two things I tell them. One, it is Seiko. Two, it is kinetic. And there is a reason. Watch lovers know what is kinetic and all. And you know, I portray that image. I own Seiko. Seiko is a very good brand, by the way. Right? बोलने में अच्छा लगता है. You feel good. You feel that छाती चौड़ा हो गया. So brand gives you all of that in the context of products. But these are all products we spoke. Can we have similar things for services? Where छाती चौड़ा हो जाता है जब आप बोलते हो I stayed at Hilton. I've been telling this story for a long time. I always have an eye for the best. आज नहीं है तो कल acquire करेंगे. If I don't have the ability to go to a particular hotel today, I will make an effort to make money and go to that particular hotel in next 2 years, 3 years time. Does it make sense to you? तो सबसे सुनता था मैं हमेशा Hilton, Hilton, Hilton. And I thought मुझे भी Hilton में जाना है. And the first time I got the opportunity, I got to Hilton. And then I started telling stories about Hilton. Right? I feel good. Not because I love Hilton, no. Then why do I tell the story about Hilton? Show off. See, I know there are certain religions which do not permit you to show off. You know, no religion says to go and show off. Right? But kabhi you need to show off. You need to have, because until you show off, people don't take notice. First thing, people should notice you. Right? So you need to tell the story. You know, when I went to Bali trip, I stayed at Hilton. Kitna acha lagta hai bolne mein. Right? Right or wrong? Don't be very obsessed with this. But have a sense. That's the beauty of brands. Brands give us stories. Be it product brand, be it service brands. You don't have to show off. No, don't take this negative advice from me. But I know you'll end up showing off one day. Right? So can you think of global service brands? हमने product brand तो बहुत देखा है. But can you think of service brands which are successful globally? Think of. Come on, give me names. Sorry?
Netflix.
Yes, Netflix is a service brand.
Airtel, Jio.
Airtel, Jio. Their service brands may not be global. Sorry? Uber is a service brand, yes?
H&M,
Say.
Zara.
Sorry?
H&M, Zara.
Yes, H&M and Zara are global service brands in the retailing sector.
Dior.
Sorry?
Dior.
Dior. That's a product brand, not a service brand. Dior wo perfume wala na? So that's a product. We are talking about service. Airbnb is a service brand. So there's quite a lot. If you give yourself a little bit of time, you can think of a number of service brands, right? So let's see which are some of the service brands. I just carried some. All of these are service brands, right? And you can keep on adding to this. This is an old list. But the question is, what do these brands have in common? जब भी बोले माइक में बोले please.
Service.
Service, yes, they are all service brands. Thank you very much. They're service brands. No wonder they're service brands. Yes, that's one commonality. What else? They're all successful. They're all service brands and they are all successful service brands. These are two things. You can be a service brand and be an unsuccessful service brand. But ye sare successful, and if you go to the top 100 companies to work for, you will see most of them featuring at some order. right? Now let me ask you a quick question. What is a product? Yes? Yes, something which has got a value, very well, yes. What else? Product is tangible, yes. You can see it, you can feel it, you can touch it. That's product. What else? When is the lunch break? Sorry, 1:30. Okay, so we got good time.
जो मेंटल वो साइकोलॉजिकली सेटिस्फाई करते हैं उस प्रोडक्ट के
आप इसको अंग्रेजी में ट्रांसलेट करके बताइए. Yeah, no, go on. It's not very difficult.
Yes, sir. The product will feel happy mentally and psychologically.
So the product makes you happy psychologically. Psychologically and mentally are more or less the same thing, right? Anything else? What? But that's an outcome. Once you use this remote, not every remote is a good remote, right? I don't know which brand is this, but there is a brand called LG. LG has come up with a remote. They call it magic remote. It's very intuitive, but very beautiful and easy to use, right? But that's after you use it. You are happy or unhappy. But even before you use it, you should know what is a product. So a product gives you a value. Product, someone says, product is tangible. Product, remember, product is a bundle of benefits. Simple. I love simple language. Product is a bundle of benefits. It could be any product. So there is a water bottle there, right? Kinley water bottle. They got it from me. Right? That's one thing I care very much when I am outside Australia. आप कुछ भी खिला लो, कुछ भी पिला नहीं सकते मुझे. I'm very particular about my drink, right? But that Kinley is 20 rupees here. The other day I was walking in the Mall Road area. I saw a German bakery. Bakery is my weakness. Went there, and I saw the best thing that I like, fudge brownie. When you heat it, that's heaven. I saw it. I had to eat it. I ate it. I need water. They gave me water. When I was giving the money, they said 130. I said 120 होना चाहिए ना? No sir, 30 rupees the water. It's Ladakhi water. There is a bottle. It's a very different shaped bottle. It's 10 rupees more than Kinley and Aquafina. And I asked her, why you're charging 30 when others are charging 20? Not that I'm miser, but I want to know. And she says, this is local water. And she also said, you can reuse this bottle multiple times and it's good for the environment. I don't know how much truth is it in, but I believe that if Ladakh is written, it is made in Ladakh. So she is charging, or they are charging, 10 rupees is a lot of difference from 20 to 30. 10 rupees is a lot of difference. You can buy 2 liters mineral water for 30 rupees, right? 10 rupees they are charging for that benefit, which is local brand, right? So product is a bundle of benefits. What is a brand then? And what is a service product? A product ho gaya, right? Now let's come to service product. These are all tangible. Service is intangible. Then what is a service product? And how is it different from a physical product? Is the question clear? Very simple question. Think about it. You don't have to respond immediately. Think about it. What is a service product? There is no definition on the slide, so don't look for it. मेरे slides बड़े गंदे होते हैं, उनमें कुछ होता कम है. So what is a service product? Can you give me an example of a service product? Banking is a service product. Then what is a service brand? Say it again. Take the mic, please. I can't hear you.
Bank is the service brand.
Yeah. Banking is the product. I agree. Then service क्या हो गया? What is the service brand then? HDFC Bank is the service brand. Citibank is the service brand. Union Bank of India is the service brand. So they are all under the product banks. The moment you give it a name, a specific name, like a phone is a phone is a phone. But you say, I have an Apple phone. He says, I have Oppo. Someone says, I have OnePlus. Now you are branding that phone, the product. Service product is like that. The product is the generic name. Then you give it a brand, an identity. The moment you think about brand, you think about identity. HDFC says, we are the best bank in Asia Pacific. Right? SBI, I don't know. Probably the worst bank? I don't know. Oh, they are recording. Government people will kill me. Right? So, zip up. No, but SBI, it has its own issues. Right? Like any government owned company. Right? And that's why you have HDFCs and ICICIs who are there. Right? So, what is the difference between a service product and a service brand? Anyway, and how do you build a service brand is the critical question. How do you build a service product? What are the different elements of a service product, right? So like we said, a product is a bundle of benefits. A service product is also a bundle of benefits. Think of a bank, right? Think of anyone who who uses a debit card. Any particular bank? SBI. अभी मुझे SBI नहीं बोलना चाहिए. Why SBI? Why SBI? Come on, yeah, be brave. See, balance. Yeah, every bank has a product for student. Like my son banks with the same bank that I started my banking in Australia, right? But as a student account, so zero balance. That's not a differentiator. You talk to other banks, they will have a zero balance for students. Anything else? Why SBI? Branch availability. In this region, probably SBI has the largest availability of ATMs and branches. Probably that. Anything else? Why SBI? Interest? Loan. Low interest. On what? Loans. Okay. Probably. Anything else? Why SBI? Trust. It's a government bank. It's a public sector bank. So probably you have a better trust. For some of you, probably your parents bank with SBI, you have moved on to SBI. Like for me, it happened. When I first started working, I moved to Allahabad Bank. My father had an Allahabad Bank account, and I asked him, which bank should I open my account? He said, Allahabad Bank is the best bank. I didn't even think twice, because the boss has recommended, so it must be good. Right? So every brand has a reason. And the day you start earning more and looking for portfolio of products like investment, credit cards, then you look out. What are the other options? Is SBI still a better choice? Or do I go to HDFC, ICICI and other? Does it make sense to you? This is where branding matters. This is where branding of services matter. There are 100 hotels in town. Which hotel do you choose? Right? Sorry? Dragon. Okay. I saw the dragon yesterday when I was coming from Pangong Lake. I saw that. Right? But I didn't have a choice. They already put me on La Crook. No, it's good. I don't want to. I don't want to say bad things about it. They already put me on. It's good. The people are good. Four seasons are too much. You know the golden rule, so we are not going to repeat it. This slide, I want you to have a look. I purposely created it. That you can imagine that the golden rule is primarily for businesses, but the golden rule has its link with Islam, with Hinduism, with Buddhism. So probably somebody has adapted it to business. And different religion are saying the same thing which Four Seasons Hotels is doing. Look at what Buddhism says, look at what Islam says, what Confucius from China says, and what my religion says. They say differently, but they say the same thing. Right? So this is not business people who have discovered this. Religion has already discovered it. And then people ask me, who are the best marketing companies in the world? I tell them the religions that exist on this planet are the best marketers in the world. You may not agree with me, or may not agree, but to me, they are the best marketing brands on the earth. People who are Islamic, they say, oh, Islam is the best. People who are Hindus like me, we say, oh, Hinduism is the best way to go. People who are Buddhists say, Buddhism is the best. Like just now our friend said, what is that? Adidas is the best brand. Right? It's religion. It is religion, which is teaching us principles of marketing. I'm sorry, but this is what has happened. Every religion wants more followers, like every brand wants more customers. Right? That happens. That's how Christianity became so famous. That's how Islam became famous. That's how Buddhism spread all over the world. Because every religion has one thing in common with brands. What is that? Value proposition. Adidas has a value proposition. SBI has a value proposition. Every religion also has a value proposition. Right? You must listen to some religious teachers. I just love them when they talk. Because they talk like marketers, not like religious teachers. They always talk like marketers. And that's why I love them. They always say why Islam is good. They always say why Hinduism is good. And they always say why Christianity is good. And why you should be a Christian, why you should be a Hindu. Is it not? What are your brands telling you? Why you should buy Apple? Why you should buy Samsung? Why you should go and stay at Hilton? Why you should buy a television? Samsung? Why you should buy Adidas shoes? Why you should buy Nike shoes? Everybody gives you a why. Religion also gives you a why. To me, religion is the best service brand. Right? We have a lot to learn from religion. If you want to be a good marketer, regardless of which religion you follow, try to follow your religion properly. You will learn a lot of marketing principles from your religious teachers. Any religion you follow, I don't care. Your religion will teach you a lot of marketing. Right? I give you a different perspective. You may hate me for this, but it's a fresh perspective for you. Right? Don't hate me. Okay, now it's time to do some exercise. Okay? Take out your pen and paper. Use your motor neuron nerves. You know motor neuron nerves? No? You don't know your motor neuron nerves? Your fingers move because your motor neuron nerves come here and they allow it to move. So use your pen and paper and start using your fingers. And answer this question. Oh, it's not here, it's there. Identify the different components of an overnight hotel stay. How many of you have stayed at a hotel? Almost all of you have stayed at some hotel. Your job is to identify what are the different components of that product called hotel. Hotel is a service product, right? Identify the different components of a hotel product. Is there any lozenges left? Thank you. Whoever is done, let me know. All I want you to visualize. You have stayed at a hotel. Visualize. You may not need to write it. You can draw it also. That what are the different things that you experienced in a hotel? Give it a visual. Human beings are very good at visualizing things.
24/7 service.
Yeah. I will come to you. Write it down. Use the pen and paper. Don't just sit with your pen and paper. Write, draw, scribble, do something. Use your brain and your hand. Whoever is done first can raise your hand. Be the first mover. Okay, let me give you a hint. When you go to a hotel or when you book a hotel, what do you actually buy? Don't say before you think it. This is one great skill you have to learn. Think before you speak. Okay? Your question is, when you have paid, for example, you have paid for 5 night stay at a hotel on a vacation. So if you have paid for 5 night stay, what actually have you paid for?
Comfort bed.
Comfort bed. Yes. Then comfort bed. What did you say? Service. You paid for front desk? Possibly. Bin. Clean washroom you paid for? Yes. You paid for Wi-Fi? Yes. Then food, view, location. Like when I came here, Stanzin told these people, can you allocate a room with a balcony? This is one criteria I always look for. I love my coffee on the balcony. It's so cold in the morning, I can't go out. All of these are the benefits. Think about it. The bed, the clean toilet, the food, the service, Wi-Fi, these are all benefits that makes the product, right? But what did you actually buy? Let me push you further. Yes? Comfort. What else? You bought the room. No, you didn't buy the room. You just rented it. You don't buy it. You actually bought a good night's sleep. Think about it. The real deal is 1 night good sleep you bought. You didn't buy food, you didn't buy this. Those are add-ons. What is the real product in a hotel stay? It's a good night's sleep. You don't go to a hotel not to sleep. Think about it. This is called core product. Make a note. Core product. Core product. C-O-R-E. Core. That's the core product. Right? Think like that in a context of services. See, you are flying from Leh to Delhi. What did you pay for? Say it again? Seat. You paid seat. Yes, you paid for the seat. But what did you actually pay for? Yes, the destination. No, you didn't pay for the destination. You paid for to reach the destination. You paid for the service. What is the core product in the airline service? Anyone? That's a add-on benefit. Some airlines are safe, some are not. You paid for transportation. So in the airline services, what is the core product? Transportation. Because there are other modes. Yesterday I was checking. You know that Leh airport is closed. Right? I'm stuck here. So I was looking for how can I go to Delhi. There are only two options. By road, 24 hours along the line of control. What if? Right? God only knows. Right? So I'm waiting. Every moment my wife calls me. When are you coming? I don't know. It's only in the hands of government of India, not God. So the core product, every service that you buy has a core product. Your Indian Airlines services has the same core product. SpiceJet has the same core product. Indigo has the same core product. That is not different. Everybody takes you from Leh to Delhi. That's the promise. You remember promise. But promise fulfillment is, it takes 1 hour 20 minutes from here to Delhi. It must reach by in 1 hour 20 minutes. Then you are fulfilling the promise. That's not enough. You should reach in one piece. Right? That's a big challenge. You never know. You got up on the plane. By the time you reach, you are 100 pieces. Very much possible. So the core product is transportation. The rest of the things, your seat. Someone said you bought for the seat. I look for the comfortable seat. Right? Right? And no smiling. Because if you go to this low cost carrier or even any carrier, these days they charge to get a seat also. So you get the plane ticket. Now you want the seat. Seat preference you charge. Now you want more leg space, they charge for that also. You need a better seat, they charge for that also. Right? They are very smart people. But what is the core product? Is the transportation. What is the core product? Overnight stay. Then comes the rest of the things. Like I sat in Air India, only 2.5 hours delay. That's all, never in life. Of course, I have to travel. Return journey is also in Air India. I have no choice. But I will travel. But the rest of the things, the food, the check-in service, the seat quality, the people who serve you in the flight, in-flight entertainment, these are all benefits. And this is where branding matters. So draw a circle, first circle. Draw one circle first, a small one. And write within that circle, core product. Have enough space for two more circles around it, okay? So what you learned now is every service brand has a core product. That's not your point of differentiation. Everybody has a core product. Right? But when do you become Singapore Airlines? When that core product becomes something special. When do you become Emirates? When your core product becomes something special. Let me give you a quick example. When I was living in UK, my main airline was Emirates. Coming from United Kingdom to my hometown, Calcutta. Every time I will fly, I will take Emirates. Why? It was expensive. I could have saved a lot of money had I chosen another flight. But I chose Emirates. And flying with 4 costs a lot of money. But I chose it. Not for core product, but for something else. It's the other benefits. So first time my kids are coming to UK, they were tiny little. The boy was this much, the girl was even smaller. They're sitting all hugging each other. A flight attendant comes with those instant cameras. They take a photograph, instantly take photograph comes out and they give it to us. That photograph is still on my fridge. I've changed 5 jobs, 3 countries, but the photograph is still on my fridge. It reminds me not only of my kids, it reminds me of Emirates. I don't fly Emirates anymore. I fly Singapore because Singapore is faster from Perth. Emirates takes me above India and brings me back to India. So it goes to Dubai and bring me back to India. Singapore goes straight to India, right? That's the reason. Otherwise, I would not have switched. Why I'm telling you this story? No core product is there. It's no more core product. Draw the next circle on top of the core product. You know concentric circles? One circle on top of another circle. Draw another circle. This is the circle at which brands compete. This is where they bring a camera and take a photo for you. That's the benefit. Now, I have flown so many airlines. Nobody ever took a photograph of my kids. Right? So it's special. They're doing at least one. You remember the cookie example? That's the cookie they are giving me. Okay, take my cookie, come back to me next time. Right? That's the second layer. So a product becomes a service. A service product becomes a service brand when they make a move from the core product upwards to the next level, which is the actual product. Right? Write actual product in the next layer. Or augmented product, whatever. For the first time being, right? So if you are a service provider, how do you become a service brand? And where do you become the service brand? Yes, by the benefits. And the benefits are the second circle. Everybody has the first circle. Right? But everybody may not have the second circle. Even if everybody has a second circle, you think about a third circle. Draw another circle. That becomes your differentiation, right? So you have a core product. Now you give everybody, just for the sake of argument, everybody else comes and starts taking pictures of kids and giving it to their parents. Another benefit. Good quality food is not a problem these days. Good drinks is not a problem these days. Then you figure out, if everybody is copying these benefits, how do I outsmart them? How do I do better than the first circle, the second circle, and go to the third circle? If everybody copies the third one, think of a fourth one. Is it making sense to you? So core remains the same. You innovate to differentiate. Write it down. You innovate to differentiate. Write the second sentence before you look at the screen. What does it mean, innovate to differentiate? Think about one unique thing, one new thing that you will do for your customer, for which your customers will come back to you. Because if you don't differentiate, what happens? You will die. So innovate to differentiate. And if you don't differentiate, you die. So write the next line, differentiate or die. I call it the Dodd principle. Differentiate or die. What does it mean? Either you say how you are different or be prepared to be killed by competition. Right? If you don't say how SBI is better than other banks, you will not remain with SBI, you will go to other banks. If you don't say how Kinley is better than other brands, you will not buy Kinley, you will keep buying other brands. In the case of services also, you need to always say, or you should be able to say, how you are different from your competitors. And if you don't differentiate, and this is called point of differentiation, if you don't have uniqueness, if you don't say how you are different, nobody gives you a job. Right? Have anybody faced a job interview? Ever? Not yet? What do we do in a job interview? I have done, like, courtesy my age. I've done multiple job interviews. I have sat for interviews and I have taken interviews also. Both sides of the table. And I've learned one thing. That in an interview, you need to do only one thing. There are trainers and educators who will tell you 100 things. But you need to do only one thing. Huh? Body gesture. Of course, gesture is important, this and that. All of that they will teach you. Dress up well, how to walk, how to talk, how to move, how to keep your hand. All of this they will teach. How not to move your hands. Because this is the hardest bit to control. You know that, right? When you are sitting idly, the hardest thing to control is your hand. They even teach you how to control your hand. But you will only be successful in an interview if you are able to say how you are fit for that job and how you are different than others. How you are different than others. There will be 100 other people, maybe much qualified than you, more experienced than you, and you win the race. You become successful. Why? Because you say, I am better than all of those buggers who are sitting here. And you don't say that. But you, you say how you are unique. What is the value that you bring to the company and what can company achieve with you? That's the job of a brand. Are you a brand then? You are a brand in the making, right? Nurture yourself. Don't remain a product. Become a brand. Think like a brand. Think like Adidas. Think like Nike. Think like Hilton. Think like Apple. Why are they successful? Because they always strive to achieve uniqueness. They always strive to be better than the competitors. That's the definition of branding. And every time, make an effort. There is no shyness in saying that you're good. Right? Because if you don't say you are good, nobody gives you a job. Try this. Take my email ID and mail me that I said I'm not the best and they gave me the job. You have to tell them. When I search for my current job, full professor is the maximum that you can achieve in academia. There is nothing beyond that. Right? And my aim was to become a full professor before I'm 50. That was my aim in life. And I achieved that 2 years ago. I'm not yet 50. So you have to have an aim. But why I remember is when they ask me, why should they hire me? And they will ask you when you go for a job interview. Right? Then you have to tell them how you are different to the table. Just like an Adidas and an... You won't get a better professor like me in town. XYZ for you. Later you have to fulfill the promise. But what is the first stage of service management? To make the promise so successfully, they believe you. And you buy Adidas, you go to what are the other hotels? Four Seasons Hotel. Go to Taj Group. Not because they are just any hotel. Because they promise. Go to a Taj Group hotel. I just love those. They're different. They're so different. I always wanted, I must earn good hotels. I just love it. It's not a very good aim, by the way. It's not a very good aim, but Become a brand. Right? So, Drew, this is one typical diagram which is an example of overnight hotels. In the second circle, in the context of services, you write supplement. So you have core service and then you have supplement. Any questions on this? We are almost near. These are the three key components of a service brand. First is core product, just now we have understood, right? Supplementary services, what are the additional elements? And delivery processes, how best you serve them. That's the third layer. So in your third layer, you write delivery process or your operations part of it. So first circle core product, second circle supplementary service, third circle delivery processes. So where do you have the opportunity to differentiate as a brand, service brand? At the second and the third layer, mostly, right? If it takes 1 hour 10 minutes from here to Delhi, it takes 1 hour 10 minutes. You have to get a supersonic jet to reduce that time, right? But you're not sitting in a supersonic jet. Supersonic jet is like much faster than the speed of sound. But you're going in a normal aircraft. So what is the other way to differentiate, right? Think about it. I give you this third framework of the day. So first framework was service triangle. Second framework was service profit chain. Third framework is the different levels of a service brand. These are called different levels of a service brand. And that is the marketing part of it. Two mantras you remember. If you ever want to become a marketer, you should only remember these two mantras. The rest will follow. One is differentiate or be prepared to die. And how do you differentiate? You innovate to differentiate. And it is not only for products, it is equally applicable for services. Always think of one unique way of creating value for your customers, which your competitor is not doing. So how can you do that? First you have to study your competitors. And that's what Stanzin taught you. Good that you just came right in time. She taught you Michael Porter's chain. It's all about understanding your competitors, right? Through your value chain analysis. So you have to always follow your competitors. And then think, what my competition is not doing, which I can do. So it's not only creating new customers, it's also attracting some of your competitors' customers. Right? How can, as Hilton, I can acquire more customers for Four Seasons? How can, as Taj, I can steal some of the customers of Sheraton? Right? So you need to be better than Sheraton or at par. Does that make sense? This is all about service branding. Any questions, comments? You got a lot of lessons today and a lot to take home so far. We still have a couple of hours left. So you're not getting a respite today from me. Okay, any questions, comments? More than welcome to respond to. No questions, no comments? Then we should head for lunch. 1:30 is the lunch. When do we meet again? 2. 2:30. Okay, that's enough time to have lunch and oxygen, which is in short supply. Right? Okay, I'll see you after the lunch. Okay?